Volkanovski is rejecting. Is that a good word? Brushing off. He's Ilia Topuria. And you just say, hey, what are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? Did you watch my fight? There's a quote by voice. Did you watch my fight? What are you talking? You think you can beat that? It was a very fair question by Volk, actually. I really appreciated it because there was a lot of truth on it. Where you go, hey, whoa. Hey, you're calling me? You think you beat me? Did you just see what I did, right? I think it was a fair question by Volk. I also thought it was very funny. But make no mistake, that's the fight. There's not even a make-believe land that you could return Volk to 145 pounds and not put him with Ilia. There's no scenario where that, if we're making sense, of course he's got to fight Ilia Topuria. Of course he does. And there's not a lot of ways to brush somebody off as champion. If you're a champion and you brush somebody off, the psychology of the fan, they want to see it more. Whoa, we turned him down. He's scared, right? We always defer to that word. The rules of the playground carry over to the octagon. So, there was one ever that I saw, and it worked, and it was Daniel Cormier. One of the top contenders for a world title for a meaningful period of time, and why you guys decide this, why this guy isn't over, is Curtis Blaydes. I don't know what Curtis ever did, but Curtis was a top guy, and he was in a discussion. Fight for the world championship, and Cormier had the belt. And Cormier came on the desk, was working up it was live at an arena with ESPN on the desk, and Daniel came up. He was our guest. And Daniel complimented him. He was very matter of fact. He said, Curtis Blaydes looked at the camera, spoke directly to him, and he paid him compliments. As a fellow wrestler, as a fellow fighter, you're very good. I respect you, and I will enjoy your career. So I'm quoting right now. This is an exact quote. Cormier had the championship at the time. He said, Curtis Blaydes, you will never share the octagon with me. You now hear that term all the time, share the octagon, right? It's like when Robbie Lawler said, run it back, or Corey Anderson said there's levels to this, then everybody else has to go copy the lines. But Daniel Cormier is the one that coined the phrase, share the octagon. And he did it when he was dismissing Curtis Blaydes. But he finished his thought. And he said, I am fighting in big matches. When I fight, they are big matches. And there's a big promotion behind it. And you don't do your end of it. And you will never be in the ring with me because you could never do your end on the press tour with me. And it did not have the same effect with the fans. The psychology was not that Daniel was scared, and therefore they wanted to see it more. They understood that. The ball, of course, is now in Curtis's hands to come out and cut an excellent promo, which is what Daniel was actually teeing him up for, and it didn't happen. It wouldn't matter if he cut a promo and it bombed. He cut no promo. He did not go to the media. He did not go to social media. He did not try to do anything interesting in the least. He further proved Daniel's point. Not only did the fight never happen, a discussion of that fight never happened. And I just bring that to you because there's not a lot of ways to blow somebody off when you got the belt. When you got a guy who's a killer, who's hungry, who looks good, who's got the skills you got to fight him. And I just think that's the spot that Volk is in, unless he's now a 55-pounder. And, you know, that's a risk. That's a big risk. I don't know that I would advise that. That'll have to be something between Volk and his team. But you're the best, you're the greatest, and you're all these different things. And go be a 55-pounder. And go win the belt up there. And it's one of those spots. And if that's not what the plan is, that's not what you want to do, that's not what you're committed to, or that risk is just too big, okay, great. Then let's stay a 45-pounder and let's just give Ilia the match and let's get on with it. It's a very curious spot. And I don't know what Volk is going to do, but you got to understand where this is coming from. Maybe I need to lay out the timeline. Volk has been so willing and so eager to compete that he was winning world championships, going to press conferences, and the only thing he asked for is that they don't make him wait long. Volk got called on that. He got called on that. I'm a tough guy. Get me back in there quickly. And it was the single worst decision of his career. He agreed on short notice to fight Max Holloway a third time, a fight that he never should have agreed to. He never should have been pushed into that. He should have found a way. He agreed to it. It looked awesome. And so I'm just sharing for you, like a lot of guys say, keep me busy. I'm the new Cowboy Cerrone. I'm the real deal. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. A lot of guys say that. Very few guys get put in a position where they can actually show, are you that guy? Are you the guy that you say you are? Volk got put in that position. He was the guy he said he was. And I only bring it to you because for the first time ever, Volk made it sound as though, hey, don't book me right away. And all Volk said was, I got to get, I think it was his hand. He said, man, I got a little surgery. I got a little medical thing I got to go deal with. So give me a minute to go deal with it. That's very reasonable. I'm not by any means attempting to sound that it's not, but I am sharing for you. It's also very different. It's the first time ever there was a hesitation or an agreement for a quick turnaround. And I don't know where Volk is going to go, guys. I think he's very sincere. I think he wants this Islam thing. Charles has been crystal clear that he does not want the fight. I don't know why you keep pushing him into it. Like, I hear you guys put back, why do you say that? I'm quoting him. I'm quoting Charles. I'm telling you what happened. Telling you I don't think he should get the fight. They should take a fight from him. I'm telling you he says he doesn't want the fight. 3 times now. 3 times he has turned that fight down. And that would just bring you back to Volk, I think. I don't know who else would be a number 1 contender at 155 pounds. You could find one. There's some tough guys there. But I haven't even heard people discussing it. These tough 55-pounders I tell you about, I don't even hear them calling Islam out. We found a really tough 55-pounder. He said no 3 times. So it's a really interesting spot, right? The one time that Volk needs a little bit of time for whatever reason, the one time he needs it appears to be a time that we really need him. And if he's going to 45, turning Ilia down, it's a weird spot. Because you're having 2 different conversations. Telling Ilia, you can't beat me, you can't compete with me, you can't even win a round, I will destroy you. That's very different than I won't go and compete. Maybe you will do all of those things, but will you go do all of those things? So it's just an interesting spot. It's a very common spot that everybody in the sport is in, except Volk. Volk's never done that before. He's never not jumped immediately. He generally even goes first, guys. Did you a favor here. Do me one back. Get me a match soon, right? It's just a little bit of a different comment that Volk made. How much do you want to tie something to a guy? 1 comment, 1 sentence to me. How much do you want to make out of it? Just sharing for you that we don't have the same clarity. And I do think at 155 for Islam, who's just sat, right? You got this top, people are saying he's the top guy in the world. The top guy in the world doesn't have a job. Top guy in the world can't get a contract. Top guy in the world doesn't have a bout agreement for 5 months. He's healthy, he's willing, he's able, he's licensed. 5 months, no opponent. Come on. Come on. Who's it going to be? I hope it's Volk.